10 mistakes that you constantly do that stop you from learning English and they slow down your progress. Let's discuss them. Maybe you'll notice that you have been learning language for many years, but still you're stuck. You can't speak fluently, you still translate from your native language, and you still have problem learning English. It seems that you've been learning English for ages. Let's discuss it and let's dive into some common problems that English learners make. First problem is translating everything in your head. I have a lot of students that try to translate from their native language and adapt it to English, but English isn't based on your native language, and some phrases it's hard to translate in English from your native language, and if you try to do it, it seems like Google Translate translated. Instead, I recommend you to understand the logic of English and try to build sentences according to English logic. Try to learn where you should put subject, object, where is the position of words. Try to learn to think in English, not try to translate it from your native language. For example, some of my students even say phrases like I like coffee, they say it me like coffee because they translate it literally from our native language. You need to understand how English sentences are built, understand the structure, first subject, word, and what other words should be put next. Second mistake, focusing too much on grammar. A lot of people try to focus on grammar, try to learn some complicated structures, but when they need to speak, they have lack of vocabulary, they don't know how to implement this grammar, they are stuck, they are confused. Please learn simple grammar. Start with present simple, present continuous, past simple, past continuous, future simple. Maybe even if this sentence is hard, start with just present simple, but learn vocabulary, try to speak, and after, step by step, you will improve your English. Don't focus too much on grammar. Focus more on fluency, focus more on vocabulary. Learn grammar, but let it be just 20% of your studying. Don't make grammar 100% of your studying. If you know a lot of words, but you don't know grammar, you can somehow explain what you want. But if you are great in grammar, but you have lack of vocabulary, you don't know words, you don't know construction, you will have problem. Grammar is important, it's essential, but don't focus on grammar too much. And I also recommend you not to learn isolated grammar. Try to learn grammar in real life context. Try to remember in what situation you will use this grammar construction. Try to think about some dialects, about some situation where you can use this grammar. Maybe try to create your own sentences using this grammar, and that will be true for you. Don't learn in Duolingo, cat ate apple. Okay, try to learn some everyday sentences that you can tell about yourself. For example, yesterday I watched a movie, played the guitar, and I met with my friend. While I was meeting with my friend, another friend called me, or something like this. Try to think about real situations that are true for you. Mistake number 3, only passive learning, not output. For example, you watch a lot of videos, read text, learn a lot of vocabulary, but you don't practice, you don't speak, you don't create your own sentences, you don't try to write anything, you just get only passive input, but don't get any output. It will stop you from getting progress, it will stop you from learning English. To learn language, you need to have a lot of practice, and you need to push yourself and speak, create sentences, write, etc. Output is crucial. Mistake number 4. I noticed that the students who really have progress, there are students who are not afraid of making mistakes. They are not stuck. They try, say something, explain something, even if they have a lot of mistakes, they maybe use wrong words, but they push themselves to get out of this comfort zone, to break this language barrier. Exactly this student succeed in learning language. Don't focus too much on making mistakes, because it's not your native language, and it's okay that you don't know it perfectly. It's impossible to know English perfectly. Try to speak, implement, and step by step, you will improve your language by practicing. You can't start swimming without practicing swimming. Of course, it's impossible. Just see how other people swim, or about driving. It's impossible to learn driving without practice, without making mistakes. The same with English. Mistake number 5. Use only one method. Some people learn grammar, some people watch Netflix videos, some people focus a lot on reading. If you train only one muscles, others stay weak. You need to have a combination. You should watch something, you should practice, you can speak, you can listen. Try to use all different methods and see what works for you. And you also need to focus on grammar, listening, speaking, vocabulary, and writing. Mistake number 6. Learning boring textbook words. Sometimes some vocabulary or some idiom that you learn, for example, it's not my cup of tea. They are old-fashioned. They were used only in textbook, or there are a lot of them that people don't use every day. You should know some formal words, but again, it depends on your goal. If you need to pass an exam, of course, you should focus more on formal words, formal vocabulary, but if you decide to immigrate to the US, you can also focus more on slang words, phrasal verbs, idioms that are relevant for informal speaking. Don't focus too much on exactly phrases from textbooks. Make your speaking fluent. And also there is a great service like Youglish, and you can type the phrase or word and see, is it really common common? Do people really speak like this? Or it's just a phrase from the textbook? For example, I have a textbook C1 level advanced, and I was shocked that there are a lot of phrases, they are really common and people don't use them. I was surprised. Mistake number 7, lack of repetition. For example, you have new words, you learn them, you practice them once and forgot. You know, the key to success and key to remember words great, it's repetition. From time to time, you need to revise your words. For example, I decided to learn in German language and I bought some cards for myself. And the great tool, for example, you can learn words, you can also remember translation, you can remember sentence. And when you understand that you remember, you, for example, or in your virtual dictionary, for example, like Quizlet put it, to revise it, for example, after a week. After a week, you can check these words and understand, okay, this group of words I remember, another I don't remember. Words that you don't remember, try to put in your new list and revise from time to time. Words that you remember, postpone and revise, for example, after 2 weeks or after a month. And from time to time, return to your vocabulary. Repetition is really essential and crucial, and you need to revise words. Some people, unfortunately, don't do it. And it's also good if you revise words, not just like separate words, you remember them in sentence and in context, in some phrases. Mistake number 8. Some people don't want to speak. They're afraid. They want to learn English and be professional, be fluent, and after they will be able to speak with other people. But unfortunately, you can't be fluent in English, you can't master your English, you can't level it up if you don't practice speaking. Speaking is one of the most important things, and you must do it, you should do it. You try, for example, if you're afraid of speaking with other people, you can speak with ChatGPT, you can speak with yourself, you can try to imagine some dialogues. Oh, maybe I will have this dialogue in a restaurant. What can I say? You can try to imagine dialogue in your head. For example, you can imagine that you're sitting at the table and ask a waiter, for example, I would like to order coffee. Do you have decaf espresso? Do you have this? Or, for example, do you have tuna salad? Maybe you can imagine what waiter can reply you. Or maybe you can ask something special, for example. Try to create this dialogue in your head if you're afraid. There are a lot of free tools for learning languages. So you can find them online. You can chat, as I mentioned, with ChatGPT. You can ask your friend, even try to help you with this. There are even a lot of websites where people exchange their knowledge. For example, you are native Spanish speaker, another person native English, and you can help each other. You can teach him or her Spanish, and this person can help you as learning English, for example. And there are a lot of speaking clubs for very cheap price or for free, and also there are a lot of cheap lessons with native speakers. If you're not ready to pay teacher for lesson, you can just pay for speaking, because speaking is one of the most important skill in learning language. Mistake number 9, using too hard vocabulary. For example, if you just start learning language and you open a movie and start learning complicated vocabulary, it will not make any sense for you. Or, for example, your textbook is too hard and not appropriate for your level. Try to choose relevant materials. Try to read a book and not have 100 words from the first page. Try to read simple text or watch simple videos, or not to watch too long videos, not to learn too complicated grammar. For example, if you're not confident with present simple and present continuous, don't learn present perfect, because it will not make any sense for you. And mistake number 10 is comparing yourself to others. And for example, you compare yourself with your friend who has been learning language for 5 or 10 years and he speaks perfectly. And for example, I had people who compared themselves with their wife or husband who had really high level of English, and they say, oh my god, my English is so bad, it's not the same as my husband's level of English. But they forget that their husband was learning this language for many years before, and they are just beginners. They shouldn't compare themselves to them. Of course, he knows better, but you should compare you only with you in the past. Don't compare yourself with others. And for example, different people have different pace in learning language. For someone, it takes 1 year, for someone 2 years, some people more disciplined, some people less organized. For some people, it's easier to understand grammar. Other people, they are really great in learning languages. You are unique, you are special, and don't focus on others. Don't compare yourself with others. It's important that you will continue learning, you will have progress, and one day you can speak fluently and feel really confident in learning language. If you follow my tips and avoid these 10 mistakes, I'm sure 100% that you will speed up and you can see your progress much faster. Wish you good luck and see you in the next video.